Welcome to Atlanta Tarot. This is the tarot forecast for Taurus for the month of July 2019. Welcome, Taurus. Hope you're well. Let's see what messages we have coming through for you in July. So we're in the most of July will be in the season or the time of Cancer. So it's emotional, it's water. Can be either stagnant or rushing or gushing, torrential. So let's see what happens and let's see what you need to be alert for this month. The energy around your reading is the Tower. So definitely there is some sort of structural part of your life that you need to let sort of, it's already crumbling down. It's sort of no longer, it's something that's no longer serving you well. So then we kind of think, oh, abandoned ship, really, because the structure no longer sort of is useful to you. The Tower, it has all sorts of connotations, and people often freak when they see it because it looks like something's about to sort of just break down and crumble, which it is. But it you know, to everybody, it could be a divorce, it could be just a way of doing things that you're sick and tired of and it's no longer working for you. It could be, you know, a company you're working for that's lost its structure and, you know, it's gone a bit rogue and you're just feeling unsupported. And it could be, well, you know what the Tower means. It's a major card, so it's really, they're sort of saying to you, come on. Do you really need it? Probably not. Well, maybe not. Definitely not. So let it go. So let's see where we are with you, Taurus, right now. Right here. Judgment. So karmic debt wiped free. So whatever that cycle of the Tower was, you know, you've completed it. Maybe you have just become divorced and finally you're free. Or you know, you've left a job because it didn't sustain you any longer. So you've kind of just waited there and thought, right, the time is right. Karmic debt wiped free. So that feeling of cause and effect has definitely run its course. And you've got a clean slate, basically. So that's really encouraging, especially when you see the Tower as the energy. And then see where you are right now as, you know, that's time for a new cycle to begin. And debt-free, but in the karmic world, so with yourself, with other people. You know, everything's been paid back, more or less. Let's see what is crossing that and which that will affect the rest of the reading. And we have another major arcana of death. So, yeah, the end of a cycle, but the end of it's the start of a transformation. Or you have been in a massive transformation, so you've learnt some lessons there that were really quite sobering, really quite sort of full on, where you thought, oh my God, what's going to happen next? It's very much a Scorpio card as well, so Scorpio's very, you know, it's the cousin of Cancer, so it's a water sign. A bit more brutal, really, Scorpio, because they go for the jugular. And when we have death come in, it doesn't mean you're dying at all by any means, but you just have to go with, you know, go with what's happening and complete the cycle, which you have done. So it's going to affect anything else in your life too, Taurus, that may need sort of a facelift, if you like, or just a letting go of. Let's see the background of the situation. So probably the May, June era, or it could have been the whole year already, because we're 6 months in now already. And the Five of Cups. So that's that disappointment that you perhaps had experienced recently, which has prompted the Tower to come in and say, no, knock it down, get rid of it, stop accepting. The Five of Cups often cycles around, you know, people coming back in our lives from the past that we thought, oh, that didn't end very well. What are they doing back here? It's almost like a test for you too. Do you really want to go down that road of disappointment again? It can be something you missed out on or you've kept missing out on because you know, universally and karmically you weren't ready, or you hadn't paid off all your debts yet. So the Five of Cups talks about that disappointment often, where we think, well, why did that end? Why wasn't I picked? Why? But there is a bigger reason for that. So that's in the background. So just remember that too. It's all about the timing. Taurus, and you're very slow-moving people and very precise. So even you, Taurus, can be affected by that, which normally, yeah. But it's sort of part of the greater good, really, isn't it? To sort of learn that sometimes it's just not the right time. Recent influences, we have the Ace of Wands. So there it comes in. The force to be reckoned with, the force of nature, all that energy rushing back in. So, you know, once you clear the decks completely, especially assuming you've got these big cards in here, it's about doing that. And then once you've done that, you get that energy that's just abundant and you're ready to rock and roll. It's there. You've returned, you know, back to your normal self, but this time you've got a forward moving sort of plan that's not going to be stopped by anybody because you've got the energy to do it. Also a card of fertility too for the females and the males there. You know, just watch that. Very fertile time. Often that is quite related to fertility. So just a little tip there. Right times again. Okay, let's see what you will be learning this month. The lesson. Well, here we go. The King of Cups. So here we come with that Cancerian energy, that water energy. Here, King representing male, really. But then again, for all of us, if this male is in your life and he's got a lot to do with the reading, this one, because this particular male King of Cups, he's a very emotional person. It's in his makeup, but he often keeps it very much hidden away. But yeah, he often finds it difficult to let go of his first love or you know, things like that, where he's sort of the emotional connection is strong and it's very hard for him to sort of throw it out or give it up. He's that guy that you can meet that's sort of still holding on a candle for the first girlfriend or something like that. It's very emotional though. But overridingly, you know, in a more general sense, he is a water sign king, obviously. But yeah, it's about introspection. So if you sort of feel that, you know, emotional energy this month, it's sort of trying to, the lesson is to really look inside, introspection, you know, examine your emotional feelings about things. It's okay to do that too, guys. I especially say it to the men folk because, you know, we've always taught them not to show emotion. Of course they have emotion, but it's very fine and practically, you know, it sits somewhere else. So being introspective for everybody this month will just help. Near future. And then we have that divine time, temperance coming in. So definitely everything balances up again after the throwing out or the, you know, the karmic debt, the getting rid of structures that don't work. Then we balance up very nicely with this forward moving. This temperance is the card for the Sagittarians, and we know that they're very much the travellers and the philosophers and the mover forwards and somewhat impulsive types. But above all too, they like that balance of inner world and outer world. So that's coming up for you, Taurus. So that's really good. Can be travel too. Always, you know, just put that travel card in there, but that travel vibe in there. But it can be travel in many other ways as well as, you know, hopping on a plane. It's just about that, you know, far-reaching, far-thinking. But overall, you know, time is right, divine time. what's happening that you're not realising. You have clarity of thought. So use that to your best advantage as well this month. So things becoming clear after a difficult or a foggy time. Then we get ace. So you've got 2 aces this month, Taurus, which is really great. So it gives you that sort of impetus to move forward and go, yeah, let's go. And your mind is clear, so don't go in there and start doubting and dithering around with it. Just move. How others see you. Yeah, typical. 2 of Wands, so yeah, there it is. There's a decision to move forward, and it's Wands, so it is going to move forward. And this is how others see you too. They see you as that sort of person. Once one thing's finished, another thing is started, but it's going to have a good outcome, so just keep going with it. And that's Wands, so it's like a forward moving, and there's going to be several options at the end of that journey too, so it's really good, really positive card, and that's how people see you. We rarely hear very negative things about Taurus, except maybe they're very structural and slow moving, but this is a great card to be seen as your ideas and your creativity of getting around and getting things happening, new things happening particularly, is very remarkable. What you're feeling positive about this month. The Queen of Swords. So very much clarity again, swords, mind, very clear. This female may have a lot to do with the whole reading too. She's that very sharp queen, and she says what she thinks, sometimes to her own detriment, because she can be quite she comes across as quite sort of sharp. Mother-in-law, I always call her, because that mother-in-law can be very protective, especially over her sons. She'll lay down the law and she'll use that sword if she has to. But her positive, and she's coming through positive, so she's someone that you really would rely on or talk to, because you'll get a no holds barred sort of answer. She doesn't pull punches. She says it how it is, and she sees it how it is. So she could be very beneficial for you this month, because it is in positive feelings. Final outcome we have, don't give up. 9 of Wands. You're nearly there. That's at 9. 9 is always the completion. So just hang in there till the bitter end. You will see, you'll get there. You will achieve what you need to achieve with the 9 of Wands. Very much that forward. He's almost to his 10, so then in his 10 he can sit there and go, oh my God, put it all down, I'm exhausted. But the 9 is that last bit of energy that we need sometimes just to finish everything off. Okay, I'm just going to pop a few clarification cards on, just on this King of Cups and on the Queen of Swords. I think that's all. So underneath the King of Cups, so the introspection of looking inward, addressing our emotions, feeling how we feel about things. We definitely have the Knight of Wands. So underneath that you'll move in another direction quite quickly. So even though the King of Cups might be a bit sort of, oh, really, do I have to address that? I'd rather not. But once you do address whatever emotionally you feel you have a blockage there, once you sort of address that blockage and chip away at it a little bit, off you go again. You'll probably go in a different direction too with the energy of the Knight of Wands. So he comes in and changes direction very quickly, and then things are quite fast paced. So that's very beneficial to know. And underneath Her Majesty, the Queen of Swords, we have the 7 of Wands. So definitely be assertive, even with this Queen of Swords, because she will come over how she is. That's who she is. She's usually the Gemini, Libra, Aquarian type. So she's quite authoritative with what she says. But underneath that, it's sort of saying, yeah, but don't forget to assert yourself too, Taurus. You've got a voice. Use it. Okay. Your final clarification card, tying together the reading for July. And as we can see, you've got wands coming up sort of towards Leo. So lots of forward moving energy as we move on through July. Okay, so what they're saying now is, Buddha reading card says attachment. Attachment to desire is the cause of suffering. Attachment arises when we want something different from what we're experiencing right here, right now. The ever-increasing list of unfulfilled desires causes us to experience discontentment and disconnects us from living simply in the pure joy of the moment. So, yeah. Attachment. What are you attached to? Just let it go this month. There's a lot of power in that. Okay, thanks so much for listening, Taurus. I hope you have a wonderful month.